other monks and brahmacharis present and my young friends. I feel honored to have the opportunity of presenting before you Swami Vivekananda's views on Indian culture. But I have some disadvantages on my side because I am not used to addressing youths. And I am very much out of touch with all these current affairs, what they mention, apps and all. I am not used to that. So I will try to present the traditional view, what Swami Vivekananda has said about the essence of Indian culture. See, culture in Sanskrit is Sanskriti. Let us first understand what is culture. Sanskriti is made up of two words, Sam and Kriti. Sam means to beautify, to improve, and Kriti means everything you do, all we do. You must know the word sanskara, Annaprashana sanskara, Yagyopavit sanskara, all these sanskaras we have. Sanskara means, the word sanskara means to clean, to improve, to make beautiful. So anything which goes to improve our bodies, minds, character, intelligence, morality is sanskara. And every sanskara is a part of our Sanskriti, culture. So by its very definition, everything which improves us, morally, spiritually, physically, is a part of our culture. Have you heard anybody claim to be a part of his or her culture which degrades him? Never. Because by its very definition, culture means all that is ennobling, which improves us. So now let's see, according to Swamiji, what is the essence of our culture. We have understood that anything which improves us is a part of our culture. Arts, science, whatever, any vidya. Now, what is the greatest impetus which we get towards improving ourselves? What is the greatest motivating force man has towards improving himself? It is dharma, religion. Actually, dharma cannot be translated as religion. Dharma has a far-reaching meaning. It encompasses many other things. But for want of a better word, I will use religion. You may not understand it now. You have so many other things to occupy your minds. But when you become older, you will understand that the greatest motivating force which helps us improve our character is dharma and dharma alone. The scriptures go as far as to say, dharmena hina pashubhi samana. If we remove dharma from our lives, we become pashu, we become animal. Dharana dharmam ityahu. Dharma is dharana. It holds us together. That is the only thing which is keeping us together. So, because our ancient rishis realized this truth, that is why they gave the supreme importance to dharma in our culture. Swami Vivekananda says, in India, I quote, here religion is the only and only occupation in life. Here in this blessed land, the foundation, the backbone, the life center is religion and religion alone. Here it is religion that forms the very core of the national heart. Here is a nation whose great theme of life is spirituality, and every other thing must be subordinated to that one theme. An Indian is born, he lives, and he even dies religiously. I'll just give you a small example. I'm sure that 99% of those who are present here, their names is either a name of a god or goddess, or it is a something which is ennobling in character, some divine quality. And in foreign countries, Tom, Dick, Harry, George, whatever. But in our country, even our names are upon gods and goddesses. In outside foreign countries, what do they say when they meet each other? Hi, hello. What do we say? Namaste. Namaha te. I bow down to you. I bow down to you. You means the divine presence in you. I bow down to that. In Vrindavana, when I was there, the rickshaw pullers, when you came in front of them, they did not say move out. They say Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. There also. So if you study our sanskaras from the birth of a child till death, all the sanskaras which are there are based on religion and religion alone. So ours is a spiritual culture. What do you mean by spiritual culture? Does it mean that all the Indians are spiritually very developed? If that were the case, there would be no need of any youth convention or any other thing. That is not the case. That cannot be the case. It means that Indian culture is geared towards the high spiritual truth inside every human being. And the honor this nation gives to any person depends upon the spiritual quality of that person. This is the meaning. If you want to study any culture, just see which phase of human excellence is appreciated most in that culture. In some it may be military, in some it may be money, in some it may be political power. All these are appreciated here, but the highest place is given to a man of God in this culture. This is the meaning of the term that India is a spiritual culture. So this is the first point. Ours is a land of religion. Religion is our backbone. And if we give this up, if we give up religion, Swamiji says, if we give up spirituality, leaving it aside to go after the materializing civilization of the West, the result will be that in 3 generations, we will be an extinct race. We will be finished. If a backbone of a man is broken, he is finished, he is destroyed. So this is the first thing. What is the second thing? But mind you, this religion should be true religion. As our speaker said, it should be true spirituality. 2 sets of rules are defined in our scriptures. One is the eternal principles, man, his relation to God, soul, and the other rules of the society, which are enumerated in books like Manusmriti. These should not be confused. A man will think that if some dictate of the society he goes against, his whole religion is gone. Not at all. These rules of the society keep on changing. But real spirituality, real religion does not change. And another thing which we confuse is that a lot of superstitions, a lot of mumbo jumbo, we take as part of a religion. Not only are those not a part of a religion, but those should be weeded out, those should be thrown aside. Swamiji says, those whose minds are always busy with such learned questions as the bell, whether the bell should be waved to the left or the right, whether the sandal paste should be on the head or some other portion of the body, how many times we should wave the light. Swamiji says, all those who are busy with such questions deserve the name of imbeciles. They are crazy people. So leave aside all these superstitions. Leave aside all those rules which govern the society. Go after true spirituality. That is what India represents. This is the first point. Second point is, see, on this subcontinent, a big experiment was made in the pre-Vedic times and the Vedic times, the people, when they synthesized and became one people. This synthesis of diverse elements, this coming together of people of different faiths, this huge synthesis since then has become a hallmark of Indian culture. Now this synthesis did not happen accidentally. Behind this great blending was a spiritual vision, a philosophical outlook, which we call unity in diversity. Nobody will say that we don't want diversity. A culture, the more diverse it is, the more rich a culture is. But what we say that this diversification should be subordinate to that one great unity. What is that unity? The spiritual unity. We are all one spiritually. There is only one soul. So all this diversity should be made subordinate to that one great spiritual truth. And this great spiritual truth, we all know, was uttered by the rishis. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. Truth is one. Sages call it by various names. This is a fantastic declaration, a momentous thing. Swamiji says, the whole history of India, you may read in these few words. The whole history has been a repetition in massive language with tremendous power of that one central doctrine. And herein is the explanation of the most remarkable phenomenon that is only witnessed here. All the various sects, apparently hopelessly contradictory, yet living in such harmony. This is the secret. This great truth was preached by our rishis, and that is what is holding this nation together even now, when civilizations have gone and come. But we are still here because of this belief in the spiritual unity of man. This is the second point. The third point is our impersonal culture. Our speaker mentioned the Vedas. See, there is no author of the Vedas. You cannot find that any person claiming to be the author of the Vedas. It is completely impersonal. There are so many sages whose spiritual realizations are embodied in the Vedas, but not even one name we find there. Because those people were not after their name. They gave us those truths and they were satisfied to make their own lives an example of those truths. See, people come and go, personalities come and go, personalities may have imperfections. Their historicity may be questioned. In 500 years, maybe somebody will question the historicity of Sri Ramakrishna, maybe Swami Vivekananda. But our religion is not dependent upon any person. Our culture is based upon principles. Those principles will always be there. If someone says there was nobody called Sri Rama, no problem. If someone says there was nobody called Sri Krishna, no problem. But the Gita is there. Whoever may have said the Gita, the principles are there. This is another great feature of our culture, that it is totally apaurushaya, it is not based upon one person. And this has very far-reaching consequences. And this is a very great reason for our culture still standing after all these years. These are the three main points. First, religion is our backbone. By religion is meant true religion, which is spirituality. Third, toleration and acceptance. Because we tolerate, not only tolerate, but accept everybody, because we are all one. We are all one spiritually. All the diverse faiths converge in that one supreme truth. Third is our impersonal culture. These are the three great features of our culture according to Swami Vivekananda. Now, having these thoughts is quite good, having these ideals that we have to be spiritual, we have to tolerate others, we have to keep our impersonal viewpoint. These are all good. These are all good ideals. But how to actualize that? If we don't have the means to actualize an ideal, it has no meaning at all. Swamiji has given us the great mantra to actualize these ideals, which you have already heard. Many speakers have told it. This great mantra is, our method is easily described. It simply consists in reasserting the national life. The national ideals of India are renunciation and service. Intensify her in those channels and the rest will take care of itself. This we have heard so many times. But just imagine the vision, just imagine Swamiji's genius. Just think, how could he get at this conclusion? He toured the whole of India, so many sects, so many languages, so many types of people. Each state is like a different country here. Then at the Kanyakumari, he sat in meditation and this whole vision opened before him. Can you imagine the importance of this statement? How in this country of millions, in this country of so many diverse languages, he takes hold of that one central thread which is keeping us together, which is keeping all this mighty nation of so many crores of people together. He catches hold of that central idea. That is religion, renunciation and service. It is a momentous discovery, a tremendous statement by Swamiji. The more we study, the more we learn, the more older we get, we will realize the importance of this statement of Swamiji. Now, how the youth can benefit from this? This is the next point. I have been asked, a note has been given to speak in Hindi for the people who have come from the north. So, इन प्रिंसिपल्स का हमारे युवकों पे क्या असर पड़ेगा, कैसे हम इनको जीवन में उतार सकेंगे, यह भी देखें. तो पहला काम क्या है? पहला काम हमारा ये है कि धर्म का सच्चा स्वरूप हम जाने, जिसे हम धर्म कहते हैं, स्पिरिचुअलिटी कहते हैं, उसका सच्चा स्वरूप जाने. कैसे जानेंगे? इसके लिए हमारे शास्त्र हैं, स्वामी जी का साहित्य है, श्री रामकृष्ण के वचन हैं, भगवत गीता आदि शास्त्र हैं. पहला काम हमारा ये है कि हम जाने कि धर्म का स्वरूप क्या है. दूसरा काम क्या है? दूसरा काम ये है कि ये जो टॉलरेंस के बारे में बोला गया, सबको अपना लेना, इसे हम अपने जीवन में उतारें. अंग्रेजी में कहते हैं चैरिटी बिगिंस एट होम. सो ये जो टॉलरेंस है, ये सबको अपना लेना, यह भी हमारे घर से शुरू हो. हमारे घर में हमारे माँ बाप हैं, पिताजी हैं, माँ हैं, भाई बहन हैं, हम उनके साथ पहले तो सहानुभूति पूर्वक व्यवहार करना सीखें. हमारे स्कूल में हमारे मित्र हैं, उनके साथ हम एक रहना सीखें. दूसरों के विचारों को समझना, उन्हें अपनाना हम सीखें. यह दूसरी चीज है. तीसरी बात क्या है? त्याग और सेवा. तो देखिए, त्याग माने यह नहीं कि भगवा कपड़ा पहना और जंगल में चले गए. हर एक क्षेत्र में जीवन के हम त्याग कर सकते हैं. जब आप लोग जैसे यहाँ पे आए हैं, तो आप लोग जो यहाँ पे आके बैठे हैं, कुछ देर के लिए तो अपना एप्स और इत्यादि जो भी है बाहर छोड़ के आए हैं, तो कुछ देर के लिए तो आप लोग त्याग किए हैं. तो त्याग माने क्या? त्याग माने जो चीज नीची है उसे छोड़ के एक उच्च चीज को अपनाना, यही त्याग है. जो नीच वस्तु है उसे छोड़ो और अच्छी चीज को अपनाओ. और यह त्याग हम लोग सब समय कर रहे हैं. आप जब टेलीविजन को छोड़ के पढ़ाई करने बैठते हैं तो आप त्याग कर रहे हैं. आप जो यहाँ पे आके बैठे हैं, अपना मोबाइल फोन और टैबलेट को कुछ समय छोड़ के आप त्याग कर रहे हैं. यह त्याग का अर्थ है. इसे हमें जीवन में कुछ ना कुछ रूप में अपनाना ही पड़ेगा. और तीसरी बात है सेवा. सेवा यानी स्वामी जी बोलते हैं, ये विराट जो है भगवान का स्वरूप, इसकी पूजा करना यानी इसकी सेवा करना. आज जितने तरह के मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग हैं हमारे परिवार में बोलिए, हमारे कार्य क्षेत्र में बोलिए, उनका एक ही तो कारण है, एक ही कारण है, हम अपना स्वार्थ ही देखते हैं. एक एग्जाम्पल ले लें. आज अगर एक परिवार में परिवार का हर सदस्य खाली दूसरे सदस्य का स्वार्थ देखे, अपना स्वार्थ छोड़ के, हर परिवार स्वर्ग बन जाएगा. ईच फैमिली विल बी अ हेवन इफ ईच मेंबर ऑफ द फैमिली tries to serve the other members. He will not be deprived by it because the other members of the family will be serving him. तो देश हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं बड़ी बड़ी कि देश को उठा देंगे, ये कर लेंगे, वो कर लेंगे, पर जब हमारे परिवारों में अशांति है, जब हम अपने माँ पिताजी को भगवान के रूप में उनकी पूजा नहीं कर सकते, अगर उनकी सेवा नहीं कर सकते, भाई बहनों के साथ मिलकर नहीं रख सकते, अपने कार्य क्षेत्र में अपने सहकर्मियों के साथ अगर हम अच्छा व्यवहार नहीं कर सकते, तो देश की सेवा तो बहुत दूर की बात है. तो चैरिटी बिगिंस एट होम. सो लेट अस ट्राई दैट renunciation and service should also begin at our homes first. दिस इज द प्रैक्टिकल व्यू विच आई हैव सीन, क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी बड़ी बातें करके लाभ नहीं है। स्पिरिचुअलिटी जिसे हम कहते हैं, भगवान लाभ जिसे कहते हैं, बहुत दूर की बात है। अभी जो हमारे मन की अवस्था है, अगर हम लोग के पॉकेट से कोई मोबाइल ले ले तो हम लोग का तो जीना ही दुभर हो जाएगा। आवर लाइफ विल बिकम मीनिंगलेस विदाउट अ मोबाइल। सो इन दिस स्टेज व्हाट टू टॉक ऑफ स्पिरिचुअलिटी एंड ऑल दैट थिंग। सो लेट अस स्टार्ट फ्रॉम वेयर वी आर। आज हम जहां हैं वहां से उठें, छोटी छोटी बातों में झगड़ा न करें, मिलकर रहें, दूसरे के विचार अपनाना सीखें, सेवा का भाव जीवन में लाएं और धीरे धीरे धर्म को अपने जीवन में स्थान दें। तो मेरे क्षुद्र बुद्धि से स्वामी जी यही चाहते हैं, हमसे यही कहना चाहते हैं। समय बहुत कम है, सो आई विल स्टॉप हियर एंड आई एम वेरी ग्रेटफुल टू स्वामी revered Swami Gyananand ji and revered Swami Bodhimayanand ji. This is my first visit to Hyderabad. I am very glad to be here, and I pray that you all may find peace and happiness in your life, and I hope that my talk was not too boring. Thank you.